It is the third installment of our legendary, naturally, Legends series on the Zane Lowe Show on Radio 1. In the past, we've had the likes of Morrissey, Green Day, Beastie Boys, The Cure, Metallica. And now we begin on a Monday, where the gentleman in front of me releases his first original album in 4 years. And we welcome him to Maida Vale, Sir Pete Mitchell. It's good to see you.
Thank you very much, Zaney.
It's nice to see you, Sir Paul McCartney. Thank you very much for taking the time out to talk to us
Call
this
me
week.
Paul.
All right.
A little bit too formal, all that business.
Just wanted to get it out of the way. Just get it out of the way.
Sir Pete.
Exactly. Okay, I'm going to start with a somewhat humorous but slightly ridiculous question. Do you remember where you were precisely 42 years and 71 days ago? I'll give you a hint. It's environmentally specific.
Wow. New Zealand?
Not close, but very far away at the same time. You're actually here doing a recording session, your first session with the Beatles.
I've always driven past this building and thought that's where we used to do all this. We used to do a show called Pop Go the Beatles, which was, it's a big break because we listened to a lot of BBC Radio when we were kids, so it's everywhere. And so we were really chuffed to get our own show. Only unfortunate thing is they've decided to call it Pop Go the Beatles, which we weren't that wild on. And then they decided we would have to sing Pop Go the Beatles. So it's like, once around the mulberry.
Seriously, Pop goes
Go the Beatles. And it's like, no, there goes our cred.
Yeah, not for long though.
But it was good. They had a couple of good engineers here. I think that's the secret.
They're still here, I think, probably floating around at some point. I was walking down the corridor before and I saw a great photo of John Peel. And obviously, whenever I come into this building, I think of John, and I'm sure everyone who's worked with him did. Do you have any memories of John? Did you ever get much of a chance to meet him or talk to him?
My first memories of John were hearing about the fact that he was a Liverpool guy who'd been a DJ in America when we hit. So suddenly anyone who was from Liverpool in America was like famous.
He utilised that connection thoroughly by all accounts.
Well, why not? Why not? So did we. He just... I wonder if he suddenly got a little bit more Liverpool, it's all like that. As a lot of people suddenly did.
Yeah.
But... he was a great guy. I used to listen to his radio shows a lot, and then I'd see him just at things, award ceremonies and, events and things. And it was always, because he was from Liverpool, we'd always have a little chat and a laugh. But I never got to know him really well. That's always the way, isn't it? Suddenly someone's gone and you go, I would like to have known him.
Same for me, man. I had one last chance just before the holiday where I spent a few hours talking to him and finally got a chance to have a moment with the man, who I'd been circling around the office for sort of over a year, desperately trying to make my introduction, but he was just so notoriously shy. I was uncomfortable, invading his space.
You were probably right to do that.
Probably. Let's talk about this new album, Chaos and Creation in the Backyard. Like I said, first one in 4 years. And I was thinking, a lot of bands, they have reasons to make records nowadays, and a lot of them tend to be schedule orientated or contractual. It's probably time the tour's done, had a bit of a break, go on and make a record. I don't know how much of those still apply to you in this day and age. Probably not many. So does it make it more for you sort of going in to make a record for yourself as opposed to other reasons?
No, I'm glad not to have any of those reasons, because that's boring really for anyone. The great thing is to go in because you want to make a record. It sometimes helps just focus you up. Your record company says, go in and make a record, and you go, okay. And the Beatles, the equivalent we had was our manager would just sort of say, okay, you're in the studio in 2 weeks' time. You can have the week before it off, John and Paul, to write the album.
Some holiday.
Go, okay. So, wow, that sounded like plenty of time. So it was. So we wrote the album in that time, but no, I don't have those kind of pressures. No, I sort of go in because I want to. And I put it at the back of my mind, I think, it would probably be a tour and it'd be kind of good to have a new album, but I do those pressures myself, and nobody else pressurizes me, luckily.
I've been waiting on the other side for your friends to leave so I don't have to hide. I'd prefer they didn't know, so I've been waiting on the other side for your friends to go. I've I've been sliding down a slippy slope. I've been climbing up a slowly burning rope, but the flame is getting low. I've been waiting on the other side for your friends to go. You never need to worry about me. I'll be fine on my own. Boom, 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 boom. Someone else can worry about me. I spent a lot of time on my own. I spent a lot of time on my own. I've been waiting till the danger passed. I don't know how long the storm is gonna last. If we're gonna carry on, I'll be waiting on the other side till your friends have gone. So won't you tell me what I wanna know? I'll be waiting on the other side for your friends to go. For your friends to leave so I don't have to hide. I'd prefer they didn't know. So I've been waiting on the other side for your friends to go. Well, I've been waiting on the other side. I've been waiting on the other side for your friends to go.
You spent 2 years making this record, which is a healthy amount of time. You know?
Yeah, well, we did it over the course of 2 years. We actually only spent about 4 months in that time, because it was kind of started it off. I knew I wanted to work with Nigel Godrich, but I didn't know who he was, except I'd heard Radiohead, heard Travis and Beck and a few things he'd done. So I knew I liked the sound he got. I liked what I was hearing, but I didn't know him. So what we did was I said, well, let's just go in for 2 weeks first of all, and then we'll make a decision. So we want to work with each other. We may not like each other, and suddenly getting stuck in a whole album with someone you don't like. So we went in for the 2 weeks, and then there was some time off after that, and then I think we did another month. And then there was time off after that, and we did another month. It was after the 2 weeks I decided I did want to work with him, and I could see the way forward.
He's really maintained who you are on the record too. And there are times, I think, when Nigel's sound, it tends to, like you say, this is not so much a criticism because I like his sound, but it can overshadow the artist.
It is a criticism, actually.
I can't, that's true. And you know what? Thank you for forcing me into an honest box. I'm now in my honest box.
Yeah.
No, it can do it. I've heard records by some of the bands he's produced and thought it sounds more like his sound than it does the band. And I think he hasn't done that with your record. I don't hear that. A good reason for that probably is the fact that I heard that you played pretty much every instrument on this.
A lot of them, yeah. There's certain drum tracks that I didn't play on just because I just didn't want to be alone in the studio for that length of time, you know.
Any instruments that you don't really get along with? Any instruments that you might take a look at and it seems like a weird question and go, I have no interest in playing that whatsoever?
Yeah, things like sort of violins and stuff. I just know I'd make such a bad racket on that. But there was a cello part. I fiddle with cello because I suppose it's a bit more like bass. And there was a cello part we were trying to get, and no one could understand it, so I actually took the cello and we hired one. Said, okay, that's it, whatever it was. And I think it sort of stayed on the record. It got hidden by a real cellist. But at least it said, this is what I want to play. Yeah. But I was playing some mad instruments on this. Mainly it was like just guitars and percussion and drums and bass and the straightforward stuff, keyboards, like harmonium and piano and Rhodes and Whirly and things like that.
Oh, just those? Just pretty much every single brilliant instrument you could possibly play.
If you love me, won't you call me? I've been waiting too long. In my soul is constant yearning, always singing this song. Only love is strong enough to take it on the chin. When did I begin to fall? Call. You'll feel free to make yourself at home.
I want to talk about something else right now, because we'll get back to the record in a second, but I want to talk about the stuff you've done, the Twin Freak stuff, with Freelance Hellraiser, with a mutual friend, Roy.
Roy, yeah.
Who's a great guy.
Isn't he?
We've played that song a few times on the radio show. It sounds great, and it caught a few people off guard. We actually asked on text if anyone could identify the mystery vocalist, and a few people got it. And you're heavily processed on that track, so a few people picked up your style. So how'd that come about, and did you enjoy kind of that collaboration? And
yeah, it's I like to do that kind of thing because it's just a little bit away from what I normally do, like the sort of the proper album that you do.
Should I just book you through your manager there? Should I just give him a call and see if you're free next week?
And I'll be down any club anytime.
Done, right on.
Yeah.
Get you to eat some carrots on my next album like you did with Super 3.
Yeah, no, I'm only good on celery.
That's right.
But no, it was just one of those things that I've done a little bit of work. I did Fireman with Youth, and we had a lot of fun doing that, because for me it was like everything I've never been allowed to do in the studio.
Why not?
Well, I mean,
Perception,
inverted commas.
Sure.
I mean, what I mean is you go in the studio and you're trying to sing and play properly, trying to actually play the chords right, and you're trying to just sing a song and be in tune. On the kind of album I was making with Youth, he'd sort of say, just go in there and just give it a bit of a rant on the thing, so we'd have a beat together, and I'd go, all right, gentlemen, I want to tell you, I believe, and I'm just going on for 5 minutes, and he'll just pick out a minute of that, or you just pick out 10 seconds of it.
So it's characterization almost, apart from it's not, it's having fun.
Well, that's what I mean. It was just having fun. So that's what I say. It's like everything I've never been allowed to do. You can't do that in the middle of a sort of proper session. So hang on, I just really feel like going down. I believe. No, Paul, we've got this song. Behave. You're supposed to be playing bass.
For a while.
No, hang on. I'll do the bass in a minute. I want to tell you. No. So, that was good fun. And then it came round to working with Roy, Hellraiser.
Yeah.
And I gave him a ring and I said, what I'd like you to do is go back into my multi-tracks and dissect them, take any drum beat you like, take any vocal you like, take any chords you like, and you can mix them up any way you want.
Can I just interrupt for a second and say that there are producers and beat makers all over the world right now who are actually pissing in their pants at the thought of doing that? That is a dream phone call.
It's something I'd like to do, It'd be good fun. He came back, he said, I've had some ideas. He just took the front off Live and Let Die. When you were young. And he just looped that up, which, when you were young. That was suddenly a cool little groove. Yeah. And then Really Love You is a bit of a screamer, which was a song I'd done when Ringo came to the studio to make another track called Beautiful Night. And we just said, let's just jam, let's just see. So I got on the Hofner and Ringo got on the things. And I was just, I really love you. I really love you. And I'm just going into one of these. And he liked that vocal, so he'd made a track around that.
What do you think of the Grey album? Did you ever hear that? Danger Mouse's reworking of the White album?
Yeah, I heard it. I must admit, I heard it kind of once and thought, not as good as ours. Come on.
Dude, of course.
I was on the original.
Dude, of course. I don't think that was his mission.
It was. Believe me, I spoke to him.
Yeah.
No.
His reworking of 99 Problems with Helter Skelter was killer, though.
That's what I mean. It was interesting. It was really interesting, and I think it's a good story.
Yeah.
But I think, cool idea and everything. I like to see people do that.
Before I let you go, a couple more questions. You're going out on the road again, and we talked a bit about this. You're doing sort of 37 or something dates around the States. Have you thought about sort of support acts? I mean, and if you did so, would you consider kind of dipping into the Bright Eyes and the Willie Masons and people like that? Some of the newer bands?
The thing is, I always think about that, but for me, it's just a kind of practical thing, and it's just a personal preference. What happens for me, this was like with the Beatles, that we got all our equipment, and then you've got to move another band's equipment off. For me, I just feel easier if I just bring my show. I just have got, know exactly what we're doing, all the road crew, and just messing with my stuff, and there's enough of it. Whereas, say anytime we've done it with the support, you've got to get all their stuff off. There's got to be an interval between the show, and I don't like that either. I like to get punters in and just keep them there till we're finished and then go home. But there's a lot, I'll tell you what, there's a lot of really good, particularly British bands, new bands who are playing live and great. So
you buying records? You listening to Radio 1? Are you hungry for that kind of music?
Not really. I mean, I've got a very wide sort of view of music that I listen to, and it can go from like Fred Astaire, Before My Time. It can go right up to date kind of thing. But I'm not really into the scene. No, I mean, it would be cool on a show like this. So, yeah, man, so. And I know a lot of the guys are. I mean, I talked to Bono the other day, and he seems to be really quite up with.
He knows.
He's up and stuff, and it is cool. But I'm not really that up on it, and I'm being honest.
No, I appreciate that. I would hope so. When you get younger bands and people coming up to you to talk to you at situations like the Enemy Awards or a Live Aid or whatever, I mean, the reverence that is there. I mean, John Peel used to talk about how uncomfortable it used to make him when bands would come up and sort of almost be shaking, and he'd just think of the whole thing was completely unnecessary.
In fact, for me, because what they're coming up and showing sort of kind of respect for is like the musical history. That's a little bit different. I can see if I was a DJ, I might, in John's case, say, well, look, I didn't do it. I'm just the guy who plays it, and I love bands. I love all the new bands. And I've introduced millions of new bands to the scene. So revere me for that, but nothing else. But in my case, if people who I think are doing good music now, are harking back to something I did or something that the band I was connected with did. There's actually a really great feeling about that, you know, and that I don't always expect. You know, you can get to a point where you sort of think, you know, they probably just think, nah, you know, the new stuff's great, but that old stuff's all a bit too old-fashioned. But then you think, well, wait a minute, well, a lot of them dress and look like we looked. The style we sort of had, that sort of Beatle mid-period style, is like still very sort of prominent. And a lot of the bands refer back to a lot of the music we did. So in actual fact, it actually makes me feel really good. And at the Enemy Awards, that was one of the great things, you know, going on. All the bands I saw that night and heard the records, I could really relate to, you know.
It all starts with the Beatles, Paul. That's the thing. I can say that, you know, because I mean, I have to reflect a certain amount of pop culture today in a lot of bands, and no one's going to dispute that fact. It all starts with the Beatles at some period or other, whether it's Oasis, probably hiking back to an earlier period, or some of the bands referring back to, you know, the mid-period or latter period at all. You achieve so much over a relatively short period of time.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, we're a great group with great personnel, you know. I mean, you got John, Paul, George and Ringo, you know, they're pretty hot four cats, really, because you can look at them individually or jointly. And so, you know, that's a great package. That package is going to do something. But it is phenomenal now to think, you know, this Bono, I'm talking to him, he said the Beatles were the Big Bang Band, you know. And so you answer to your question, you know, I really love it. I love it when bands come up and say, oh man, you know, really love that, what you did. And I love the fact that it's not disappeared, because we all thought it would.
Seriously?
I mean, when we started out with the Beatles, we're looking at 10 years and thinking that's maximum, you know. But suddenly it was 20, suddenly it was 30, suddenly it was like 40 or something. And it hasn't gone away. And there's people now who are playing great who are referring back to it. You know, a lot of the great people.
Do you refer back to it? Do you reflect every now and then? I mean,
yeah, sure. I'm the same. I think it's a good idea.
What's your favourite album, if you don't mind me asking? I'm sure it changes all the time.
My favourite albums do change. I mean, I would kind of like Pet Sounds by the Beach Boys a lot, just because of musicality and the sort of, it was of the time.
Were you ever aware of the effect that your music had on Brian Wilson through those years? You know, you talked openly about the fact that it actually sent him into a bit of a spiral, not any form of guilt, naturally, but were you aware of that?
That was kind of awkward then. I mean, that, you know, to be part of that story, that, you know, I think it was after Sgt. Pepper that he thought, okay, can't top that. But the thing is, as I said to him when I met him, I said, yeah, but we were doing Sgt. Pepper after Pet Sounds. Where we thought, can we top that? The only difference is we thought, you know, and so we went and made something off the back of that, inspired by what he'd done there, and we mixed it with our love of Motown and our love of certain other stuff, you know, and we made it on. But no, it's great that a lot of what Brian was doing, we were ping-ponging off each other. He'd hear Revolver, and he'd want to make this record, and then he'd hear Rubber Soul, and he'd go, oh no, we've got to make this.
Boxing match going on there.
Yeah, but great. I think that's great. I think a lot of people still do that, you know. You'll get someone to hear Oasis' new album, go, okay, well, no, we've got to match that. Then you'll hear Coldplay things, okay, okay, we can do better than that, or can we, or whatever. I think it's really a great motivating thing, you know, to have people who you think are great that you try and get better than.
Don't
definitely see any problem with that.
Two more questions. Now that you're playing, you know, live shows again, and you've got a brand new album to perform, which is obviously, I mean, exciting to play these songs to so many people, again, these new ones, but you're going to play some of the older tracks as always, you know, and you always breathe new life into them. Do you think sometimes, and I don't want to focus on regret, but do you kind of regret that you guys stopped playing live when you did? Do you wish the Beatles had had a chance to go out and play some of the songs that you get to play now, but as a four-piece, you know?
Oh, yeah, sure. I mean, you know, that was one of the problems with the end of the Beatles, was that that was what I wanted to do, was to continue as a live band more than anything else. But we couldn't do it. We'd come full circle, you know, and we'd had all these sort of business problems that kind of helped break us up. And at the time, I remember us all talking about it's like four guys who've been in the army together, and now it's time to leave the army. And you can't just cling on to that thing, you know. These guys have got to leave the army, got to go and get married and have babies. And it was time. And then looking back on it, so at the time, answer to your question is, it was a great regret at the time. But having said that, when you do look back on the body of work of the Beatles, there's definite A to Z. You know, it really is a full circle. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in there, you know, and you could spend a lifetime trying to discover what's in there. Yeah. So, you know, I feel like what we did was really cool. Very proud of it. Very proud of the music and the whole vibes of everything we did. And it was a full circle.
Still making great records today, man. I have to say, this one is fantastic.
Hey, thank you.
Really good. 13 tracks. You know, when you finished mastering this new album, did you take it home to the missus or whatever, crank it up, and, you know, do you get excited?
Exactly.
Check out this guitar line, check out this, you know, do you do
bet. Yeah, that's what I mean, you know. That's what I wanted to make. I said before this album, because I'd been touring and we'd done Glastonbury and stuff, I said, I'm going to make a great album. You know, and then your mind sort of checks yourself, hey, wait a minute, you know, what you mean is you'd like to make an album. I said, no, I'm going to make a good album, you know. And so, yeah, when it was all finished and that, it was like, hey, I'll go home and I'll listen to it, because it's all over. It's like, you know, the Beatles' body of work. It's done. Yeah. It's all done. And it's too late for any changes now.
Chaos and Creation in the Backyard, the yin and yang of life itself put into one title. Really good to see you again. Thank you for taking part in our Legends Week. By no means the story is it over. Thanks very much. It's good to see you.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Thanks, Paul.
Inside, oh yeah. I've got a feeling I can't hide, oh no. I'd hate to miss the train, oh yeah. Ooh. And if you leave me, I won't be late again, oh no. Got a feeling deep inside. I got a feeling that I can't hide. Ooh, I got a feeling. Ooh, got a feeling. Ooh, I got a feeling. Yeah. I got a feeling, I got a feeling I can't hide, oh yeah. Lord, I got a feeling deep inside, oh yeah. I got a feeling. Ooh, 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 ooh. I got a feeling. Ooh, don't wanna miss that train. Ooh, now I won't be late again. Ooh, got a feeling deep inside. Got a feeling I can't hide.
Hope you enjoyed the very first installment of 3 in our third Legends Week. Sir Paul McCartney. Got to get the formalities in one last time. Thanks very much to him and everybody at Made in Vegas who made that possible. That was a special moment for me and everyone who attended to see him perform and play. New songs taken from his album Chaos and Creation in the Backyard, which is out this week, out today, and of course a very special bluesy rendition of I Got a Feeling from the album Let It Be, performed for the first time ever. That's what Legends Week is all about. We continue.